What's up guys, it's Scoopman 5000. Today we're back for another action figure review, and we're wrapping up AEW Unrivaled Series 3 with Matt and Nick Jackson, the Young Bucks. So we looked at Pac, and we looked at Darby Allin, we looked at Riho, and we looked at Orange Cassidy. Now we get to the Young Bucks, who are the first mainline re-releases or redos of characters we already got. We have gotten some repainted figures of the likes of Chris Jericho, Cody Rhodes, Kenny Omega, but those were in ringside exclusive ring bundles, and they were basically just repaints of the same figure. But what we have here in Series 3 is redos of Series 1 characters, that being Matt and Nick, the Young Bucks obviously, and these are ground up, completely new parts, new head sculpts, everything like that. So, and these are going to be more of your mainline every week on Dynamite Young Bucks, whereas the ones that we got from Double or Nothing were more of the special appearance, pay-per-view style with the Elvis outfits. But this is more traditional Young Bucks territory. We got the tassels on the boots, we got the vests, you know, you got Nick Jackson with his headband, everything like that. But this is more classic Young Bucks. You got the tassels on the boots with the tights, you got the entrance vests, everything like that. You can see the window box, same thing we're used to with AEW series so far. You get the render, the name of the wrestlers, Unrivaled collection. On the side, you get some character cards down on the bottom. We got 23 and 24 in the series, respectively, for Matt and Nick. On the other side, you just get the AEW logo. And then on the back, you get some in-ring shots. These both come from Dynamite on January 29th, 2020 from Cleveland, Ohio. And on the bottom, you can see the other characters in the wave. We did already take a look at them in the past couple days if you want to take a look on the channel. And then here's the barcodes on the bottom. These are starting to hit in Walmarts, and I believe they're going to be hitting Targets this year as well. So with that taken care of, let's finish up AEW Series 3, and let's take a look at the Bucks. And here's the Young Bucks out of the packaging. Not much in the way of accessories. I guess the only one, if you want to call it that, is the entrance vests that they come with included. As far as I can tell, these are identical to both Matt and Nick. You can see the front here looks really nice. They got this kind of leopard pattern on the collar. And then when you go to the back, you got the Elite logo. So cool stuff overall. The way they kind of attach, they have this one clip on the side here. And then this side is completely solid. So you kind of have to declip it. Then what I did is actually remove the heads and then slid it over this arm. And so kind of a bit difficult to take them off, but luckily with the AEW figures, you could really just kind of take them apart. They got these beautiful ball joints. So you're really not going to break anything, kind of like with a bunch of other WWE figures. So it is possible, albeit maybe a bit extra steps, but you're not going to damage the figure in any kind of way. But I'm going to look at both of these together, considering they're basically the same figure when you go from the neck down. The only real difference is actually the placement of the Elite logo. It's just swapped on Matt and Nick. Otherwise, the exact same figure with different head sculpts. And that makes sense. They're nearly identical brothers, so I don't really take issue with that. The head sculpts here are going to be the main point of content, and like with a lot of these AEW head sculpts, there's just something off about them. So we'll start with Matt Jackson. And here, I think the sculpt is fine, but something in the paint kind of throws it off. So like with a lot of these AEW figures, there's just something a little bit off about the head sculpts. And I think the main point here is just like underneath the eyes, I'm noticing like a dark shading or something like that. It makes it look like he's got black eyes, or if he's tired or something like that. It's not really doing him any favors. I guess it's just kind of hit or miss. When we get to Nick Jackson, I think it's kind of the reverse issue, because I think the paint is fine, but the sculpt here is kind of throwing me off. And like I said with Pac and with Riho, the expression is kind of a reason for that. But here, I think they just made his face really like pronounced, like his chin and his like cheekbones maybe. He's kind of got like a Max Headroom thing going on here, so I don't know where that came from. But overall, just something a little bit off about each head sculpt. I will say with Nick, I do like the Elite headband that he's got going on, so there's that. And when we get to the rest of the figures, like with all of these AEW figures, really the ring gear and the attention to detail in those aspects is really where these figures shine. So I guess we'll grab Matt. They're basically the same figure, like I said. Really nice metallic paint or plastic. Whatever's going on here, it looks really good. You got like a pearly white in the middle there. Then you get some gold, and then a really nice metallic blue on the outside of the tights. You even do get some nice sculpted and painted details. That's kind of what separates this from maybe a Mattel Elite, because a lot of times something like this belt would just be painted, but here it's fully realized. It's sculpted. All the rivets, the little belt loops are even painted in gold, and then the rivets in silver. So really nice, and that continues all the way around. On the left of Matt here, you see the Elite logo. It's kind of dark, kind of hard to make out, but that's probably how it was on the ring gear. And then when we get to the boots here, it's this really strange kind of way they did this. This almost reminds me of like pipe cleaners or something. They're kind of more rigid than I would expect. I wish they had a bit more like weight to them and they were a bit more floaty, because I feel like, especially if you look at Nick over here, they're kind of all over the place, these tassels. That isn't too big a deal, and I can honestly see some pretty cool photography being done with these guys. If you get them all posed up doing like a super kick and you kind of get these all over the place, that's a cool effect, and I guess they do kind of get back into place if you put them that way, easy enough. Underneath the tassels, you also do get this big cloth piece right here. It's got some kind of glitter going on in it. You can see some getting on my fingers here. That kind of covers where the boot would be. Underneath is actually just more of the tights. Actually pretty funny that they painted underneath here. I didn't expect that. I feel like that's kind of almost a waste, but a good attention to detail, I guess you could say. And then moving on to Nick, it's going to be a lot of the same. You can look at that headband again. He's got a lighter hair color, but like I said, the exact same figure more or less, just flipped on the tights. Actually, the gold and the white is actually different. I didn't even pick up on that until I just picked up Nick here. So basically the entirety of this design just flipped. And now you got the Elite logo on the right here. Same kind of tassels going on. Nick seemed a bit more unruly for some reason, but not a huge deal. You can kind of just get them back into place like this. But that does about cover the aesthetics of these figures. Now to go into some articulation, they're going to be on that same kind of system that we see with most of these figures. The heads are on hinges and ball joints. With Matt, he's going back that far, forward that much, and you can see that range of head movement. And then with Nick, you can see it maybe is a little bit better because he's just got the ponytail, goes back that far, forward really good, and then he does have a pretty decent little rotation there. And then these are going to be identical, like I said, a million times. So we could see the torso, double ball, goes back that far and forward that much. He also does have some great tilt, which is perfect for the Young Bucks arms up pose, where they tilt kind of to each other's side. The shoulders hinge and they swivel. Actually feels a little loose here. You got the upper bicep cut. You got the double jointed elbows are really good. And then you got the hinges and the rotation at the wrist. The legs are going to split, and then again you could see they fixed the kind of flesh-toned little pegs here that they had in the previous series. There is an upper thigh cut, really tight on this one. You got a double knee that's pretty good, and then you do get a hinge and an ankle rocker at the boot. And that is going to do it for Matt and Nick, the Young Bucks. So now we're going to go ahead, we're going to put them together, and let's do my favorite part, and let's do some comparison. And I think the only way to start off the comparison is with the Series 1 Young Bucks, and you can see I've put them together, the two Matts and the two Nicks, and you could see right off the bat, these look like they were made by completely different companies. And I think there's drawbacks to each one of them. Obviously, the skin tone is a big issue with Series 1, but when it comes to the actual likeness, I think that Series 1 did a major better job in terms of the actual sculpt. And it's unfortunate that the skin tones are so different because you can't swap the heads back and forth, because it is so easy with these figures, but it just wouldn't look right because of the alternating skin tone. So hopefully down the line, we actually get these head sculpts repainted and put in that plastic of the new skin tone, because I think they're the superior head sculpts when you take a look at them. I am glad to see that the height lines up pretty good, because I was pretty concerned about that. And for whatever reason, these two new ones looked a lot bigger to me, but they actually are pretty close in height, and scale has been a major issue with this line, so that's good to see. And overall, I guess it's really just a matter of preference, and also like with the middle ones, I said in the beginning, these are more of your week-to-week Young Bucks, whereas the two on the outside are more of a special appearance, kind of not something they wear every week. So you can take that what you will. I think because of all the improvements to the skin tone and the ring gear, I'm going to go with the ones in the middle, but I do wish they had those head sculpts just repainted. And then here we have some other members of the Elite. We have the Series 1 figures of Kenny Omega and Cody Rhodes, this being the repaint from the ringside exclusive, but you get the same idea. And you can see the variety of skin tones we've been getting. I didn't realize how different these would actually be, because I thought this was the updated skin tone, but I guess it's on a per wrestler basis. Even if we bring someone in like MJF, it's closer to Cody's, but maybe not exactly the same. So the plastic, the different skin tones, is kind of all over the place with this line. And then here's Penta and Phoenix, honestly two of my favorite figures in the whole AEW series so far. And now we can have some proper awesome tag team photography taken with some proper Young Bucks and some proper Lucha Bros. So that's going to be really cool. I think these all look great together, and the heights look surprisingly well together as well. Then you can see him here with a little bit of the bubbly ringside Chris Jericho and the Hangman Adam Page, all looking pretty good together. And here's some other Series 3 figures that we just took a look at. We got Darby Allin and Pac. And then with Orange Cassidy and Riho to complete Series 3. For some WWE comparisons, here's Roman Reigns and Seth Rollins. Here they are with Brody Lee and Sting. And then finally, a really exciting comparison, one I've been waiting to do with these figures ever since that segment on Dynamite. We got them with the Good Brothers, the Machine Gun Karl Anderson, and the Big LG Doc Gallows. I'm sure these will go better with their eventual Super 7 figures, but we're not going to get those for almost a year. So for now, these look really good together. I'm glad to have all these figures together, and you throw them in with your Kenny Omega, and now it's a party. And that is going to do it for the Young Bucks and for AEW Series 3 in its entirety. And honestly, I like this series even more than I thought I would before I started doing these reviews. I might still lean towards Series 2 in terms of the lineup, just because they got a lot of my favorites in that series, like the Hangman, like Dustin Rhodes, Jon Moxley. I think they just really had an all-star cast. MJF, the Lucha Bros. I love everyone in that series. In terms of personal taste, I love Pac, I love Darby Allin, I love Riho, and Orange Cassidy is alright. The Young Bucks aren't really my thing, so in terms of the actual lineup, this isn't really doing it as much for me, but the figures themselves are fantastic. I'm glad to have them in my collection and glad to have reviewed them. The AEW series, we're 3 series in, we got tons of exclusives and different rings and things like that. Really healthy line so far, and I hope it only continues. And they continue to address the kind of small issues that prevent these figures from being great. But that is going to do it. Like I said, if you want to go back, you can look at the reviews for Orange Cassidy and Riho, and then for Pac and Darby Allin. We also got tons of WWE figure reviews, a few AEW figures back in the vault. There's plenty more coming on the way this year, and also tons of other toy lines that I've taken a look at. If you want to see any of that stuff, make sure you subscribe. Check out the archives. I'm going to be posting some figure photography of these guys at the end of the video as per usual, and you can see my library of figure photography on Instagram, scoopman_5000. But that does wrap up AEW Series 3. Thank you for watching, and we will see you guys in the next action figure review.